It was supposed to be just another ordinary day at the corner bakery, but what happened that morning changed everything. Sofia didn't know it, but the man in the dark suit with a lost look who walked in carried more than just a craving for coffee. He carried the weight of a lonely life, built among skyscrapers, cold meetings, and a fortune that never seemed to be enough. While he waited, observing the simplicity of the shop, something in Sofia's soft voice brought him back to reality. She didn't smile out of politeness, but out of genuine kindness. And in that moment, William, one of the most powerful businessmen in the city, felt something he hadn't felt in years: peace. He didn't even know her name yet, but he already wanted to come back the next day. William began to frequent the bakery every week, then every day. Sometimes he didn't even order anything. He just stayed there, watching Sofia take care of the shop, with the sweetness of someone who loves what she does. He noticed every detail: the way she cleaned the counter whistling softly, the care she took wrapping sweets for the neighborhood children, and the kindness toward the elderly who called her by name. That was everything his world was not. And even with gold watches and luxury cars waiting outside, it was there, on that simple worn tile floor, that he wanted to be. But the closer he got, the more he realized Sofia was different from all the women he had ever met. She didn't seem impressed by anything he owned. Sofia, on the other hand, also noticed the constant presence of that mysterious man. But her intuition told her to take it slow. She didn't know who he was, nor did she understand why someone so sophisticated seemed so interested in an ordinary woman like her. And even though her heart began to open, she knew she needed to protect her peace. She had been hurt before, promised the world and more, but left empty-handed. So when William invited her to dinner at one of the city's most expensive restaurants, she declined. Not out of arrogance, but because she wanted to see if he would come back anyway. And he did. He came back the next day, the day after, and the day after that too. But instead of insisting, he began to get to know her through simple gestures, bringing flowers from the local market, writing notes praising the sweets, and once even fixing a light bulb in the shop that had been flickering for weeks. He stopped trying to impress her with wealth and started to charm her with his presence. And that's when Sofia allowed something new: a walk. A picnic in the park where she used to go with her mother as a child. No drivers, no security, no clocks. Just the two of them, sitting on the grass, laughing at the differences between the worlds they lived in. William began to change. Little by little, he started to rethink his routine. He cancelled meetings to see her earlier, began to care more about the people around him, and for the first time questioned whether his success made sense without someone to share life with. Sofia taught him the value of small things: the smell of bread coming out of the oven, the sound of rain on the roof tiles, the taste of freshly brewed coffee. And even though he never said it outright, William was falling in love. With simplicity, with truth, with her. But not everything was easy. When the newspapers found out who the woman he was holding hands with was, the spotlight began to invade their lives. Customers took hidden photos, influencers tried to dig up gossip, and even employees started treating Sofia condescendingly. She got scared, and for a while she distanced herself. She thought that world wasn't hers, and maybe she had been deluded to believe she could have a love like that. William then had to decide: protect the woman he loved, or maintain the appearances of the empire he had built. That's when he made the most important decision of his life. Sell part of his shares, step down from the executive position, and open a new business, a chain of bakeries inspired by the place where it all began. But with one condition: Sofia would be a partner. He didn't want to save her. He wanted to walk beside her. No grand castles, no luxurious dinners, no empty promises. Just the two of them. And when he returned to the bakery with a simple silver ring in hand, because that's what she liked. Sofia understood that true love doesn't shine in gold, but in the eyes of the one who chooses to stay, even when they don't have to. After William gave up part of his fortune to live a simpler life alongside Sofia, something inside him changed. He began to value things he hadn't even noticed before, like the familiar faces in the neighborhood, children playing on the sidewalk, and even the sound of the church bells at noon. Sofia, by his side, blossomed even more. She, who had carried the fear of being left behind for so long, now saw in William not a man with wealth, but someone who made a point of staying. And so, together, they began to transform the small bakery into something bigger, not focused on profits, but on purpose. They trained young people from the community, donated bread to shelters, and hosted reading nights for children. And every customer who entered felt that there was something different about that place. Love in every detail. But, like every good love story, theirs was also tested. One day, William received an unexpected call. His father was ill, a strict man whom he hadn't spoken to in years and who had never approved of his new life. He was the kind of man who measured everything in numbers and saw love as weakness. Even so, William knew he had to go. When he told Sofia, her eyes filled with worry. "What if he tries to manipulate you again?" she asked. William held her hand and replied, "This time, I know who I am, and I know who I love." He left the next day, promising he would return soon. But days passed, and no message came. Sofia, even trying to stay strong, felt her heart tighten. Had he changed his mind? Was his world too strong to resist? 3 weeks of silence passed. Until one rainy morning, Sofia heard the bakery doorbell ring. And there he was, wet with wrinkled clothes, but eyes full of certainty. He had cared for his father until the end, faced old ghosts, and proved to himself that he no longer needed to live according to expectations. "Now I know even more surely that my home is here," he said, pulling a handwritten letter from his pocket. It was from his father, apologizing for not having understood the value of love in time. Sofia hugged him, tears falling slowly, as if that moment washed away all the fear that still remained between them. Years passed. The bakery became a landmark in the neighborhood, and Sofia and William remained true to what had united them from the start: simplicity. They married in the shop's own backyard, surrounded by friends, neighbors, and children, smiling with frosting-stained fingers. There was no grand party, no famous guests, just sincere vows and knowing glances. William, despite a past of numbers and contracts, was now known as Sofia's husband, the man who gave up everything for love. And Sofia, she was the woman who showed the world that you don't need to be rich to change someone's life. You just need to know how to truly love. And if anyone asks if happy endings exist, they would answer, not endings, but new beginnings. Because their love didn't end at the altar. It started there. Growing every day, among laughter, flower, and hugs at the end of the day. Did you like this love story? Then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to be alerted when we post a new story.